How you liking that lake?
I love fishing here. The water's always so clear.
Sure is beautiful, isn't it? But just how long do you think we can keep it that way?
What are you talking about?
Landa Park is a part of our watershed. Actually, everything around you is part of our watershed. Your home, the grocery store, your school. It's an entire area surrounding a body of water in which all water runoff leads to. Every time it rains in a watershed, some of the water is absorbed back into the ground, some evaporates back into the atmosphere, while the rest runs downhill into the nearest body of water. This stormwater runoff can take any pollution it encounters along the way with it. That means the leaky car in your driveway, the fertilizer in your mom's garden, and the dog poop you didn't pick up, which, by the way, bacteria found in the waste of warm-blooded animals is a major concern for our watershed. Or the little gum wrapper you threw out of your car. These are all types of pollution you can find in our watershed. Thought you could get away with that one, didn't you? So when it rains, all of those pollutants, including bacteria, are washed into the watershed's main body of water, which for us are the Comal River and dry Comal Creek. That's why it's so important that our community works together to maintain the health of this system.
Well, what could someone like me do to help?
Well, one thing that could definitely help is if we stop feeding the wildlife. Hey! Hey! We know it's fun to see these animals up close, but our interactions with them harms not only our rivers, but also the wildlife. Bread, corn, and other human foods aren't a part of their natural diet and causes health problems. Since these animals become dependent on human care, they don't migrate. That leads to them all pooping in concentrated areas in our watershed, such as Landa Park. And those birds, they're not even native. By encouraging them to stay in our parks, we're disrupting the habitat of our native populations.
You know, I guess I just didn't understand the implications. Why don't we go ride the train instead?
Yeah. Come on, he pooped. I'm not touching that.
Not my dog, not my problem.
Actually, ladies, leaving that pet waste where it is everyone's problem. Not only does it smell bad and someone can accidentally step in it, it can also wash bacteria into our waterways whenever it rains, adding to the bacteria in the river.
You mean that's going into the same water that guy was just swimming in?
That's right. Animal waste and other pollutants left on the ground can end up in the water, affecting water quality.
Here, I'll get it.
Wow, look at all these deer. That's another big issue. Just like the ducks, there are way too many of them in this area, which is greatly contributing to the bacteria issue with all that poop. Watch out! Ah!
That was close.
Yeah, it was. Poor thing though. Chances are, it's still going to be hit by a car. On average, over 500 deer are killed along roadways in New Braunfels each year. And if that number doesn't upset you, just imagine how much you'll be spending on car repairs. Truth is, there are just way too many deer in a small area. This leads to polluted water, wildlife sickness and disease, and habitat degradation. So either we need to stop feeding these deer so that they move along, or we need to take matters into our own hands. Oh. Just kidding, but really, stop feeding them.
Hey, honey.
Hey, who's your friend?
Oh, he was just teaching me about all the things that affect the health of our watershed. Did you know things like car oil, fertilizer, and trash can wash into our waterways when it rains? Even worse, if we don't stop feeding the local wildlife, they're going to keep pooping in the same place, and all that bacteria is going to wash into the river. Speaking of, I've got to be better about picking up after Carl.
That's great, honey. I'm so glad to see how passionate you are about our environment.
We love our parks and rivers, and we want to continue enjoying them for years to come. Together, we can make that happen.
Who's he talking to?